Hello everyone and welcome to Friday, November 6, 2020. Well, as we take a look at what's happening with the weather across the region, it is going to be, changing a lot. We have enjoyed a spectacular week of really warm November weather, dry conditions, but we're going to shift gears. And by late this weekend and by next week, it's going to have a more winter-like feel to the weather pattern. So our mild days are numbered. We're going to start to see the changes this weekend. Really, for west of the divide, the changes start tonight and Saturday. East of the divide, it's Sunday and into Monday and Tuesday when you're going to notice the changes. The longer term is going to be colder for longer. We're not going to have a cold wave and have a big warm up again. We're just going to have a cold wave and then it's going to stay colder, more unsettled as we hit mid-November. Occasional snow opportunities, mountains and plains coming. The mountains, though, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll see pretty good snowfall on an off and on basis as the Pacific is opening up to allow moisture in and plenty of cold air to help fuel the development of snow that you a lot of times do see in the Intermountain West in the high country during mid to late November as we start to get into the winter season. This is where we're going to be at noon today. That high pressure really builds in the eastern Pacific, so we're looking at everything poised to have that low come into the west coast and dive towards the Great Basin. And as we get on into Saturday afternoon, we have a low over Nevada, another low coming up into Oregon and coming out of British Columbia. But notice the difference in the airflow. On the backside of the trough, it's coming right in from the north. Ahead of the trough, it's coming right up from the south. So you're going to have a lot of warm air here Saturday, a lot of cold air here Saturday. So it's going to be quite the contrast. But as the trough moves east by Monday morning, the colder air then becomes into the Intermountain West and then starts to build and go over into the Continental Divide areas east of the divide by late Sunday into Monday. But notice all the activity. We've got this upper level low there, an upper level low there, a pretty good looking system there, another one up here. And these guys are just going to keep coming and cycling through, being bookended by a big high pressure ridge along the east coast and a big high pressure in the eastern Pacific. So that's just going to bottle up all the colder, unsettled weather in the western United States for an extended time. Now this is for Tuesday. We have a low here, we have that other low coming in from the northwest, and it's all coming on in. And notice the highs remain. So this is why we're going to get colder and stay colder for longer, both sides of the Continental Divide. This is by Thursday. Another wave comes in, another one followed by it, and look at this, another one up here, and they're just going to keep on coming. This is why the mountains of the northern and central Rockies, the Pacific Northwest, even the Sierras of California, and even down into the southern areas of Colorado, northern New Mexico, Arizona, Utah's southern mountains are going to get into the act with the colder wintry weather. Precipitation, very impressive, and you can see all the red and orange and the yellow and the blue. That's over 10 days here. This is a week and a half worth of precipitation. You can see. Look at Montana, back into Idaho, back into the Pacific Northwest, the Sierras here. This is going to be a prolonged period of off and on snow in the mountains. Notice there'll be some snow on the plains, but again, I think the real highlight is going to be what the high country gets over the next week to 10 days. Yes, there'll be some snow on the plains, but amounts aren't going to be all that impressive, but there'll be some snow. If you go and take a look at what that moisture would look like if you convert it to snow, really impressive. Significant snows building up here in Montana, up into Yellowstone Park, up into the Bitterroot of Idaho, down into the Wasatch of Utah. Look at the high country of Colorado, into the Four Corners area here, and then back into the Sierras. So this is really good news if you're wanting to hit the ski slopes by the end of November and into early December. Well, you're going to be able to, despite the fact that we've had a really warm, dry November week here over the past week or so. This is to show you the contrast in temperatures. This is our temperature forecast for this afternoon relative to normal. So you can see everybody except the far west coast is going to have a very warm day today relative to normal. You can see the blue and the green here, the storm approaching the coast. But by Monday, that cold overspreads. We still have warm on Monday hanging on in southeast Colorado into the Plain States, but this warm will fill in with this cold by late Monday into Tuesday. And if you were to take a look at the next 10 days of temperatures averaged out over the next 10 days, the west is cold with all that blue and the green, and the east is where the warmth is going to be. And that's because of those high pressure ridges bookending and drawing all that cold air into the western United States. Have yourself a great weekend. Be ready for the changes. We'll talk to you on Monday.